Chapter 24. All nativism is slavery. Unenlightenment is slavery. Unconscious slavery is unenlightenment. Only spiritual, self-transcending enlightenment is freedom, liberation, and transcendence of all that is psychic and physical limitation, oppression, and ignorance. To be a native of any culture is to be slave within that culture. Nativism of any form is acknowledgement of a form of bondage. All differentiation of race is slavery. Nativism is not enlightenment or liberation, or transcendence of self, thought, culture, or mind. To be human is to be a native of some time, place, and river of blood. Therefore, all humans are by nature natives, and all natives are slaves of one practice, doctrine, or dogma, or other. And thus, the music of such humans or natives is the expression of sorrow. All limitation, however high or low, conscious or unconscious, is sorrowful, until the human condition and all nativism is spiritually acknowledged and recognized, understood, and transcended. The evaluation of the flesh relative to the earth is not the evolution of the soul relative to this galaxy, nor is it the wisdom evaluation of spirit relative to the material, the psychic, and astral, the causal time, the mental space, and the spiritual transcendental universes. All nationalism is slavery. All northernism, southernism, easternism, and westernism, politicism, partyism, or factionism is slavery to location and geography. Therefore, Americanism is slavery as much as any institution of ideals in the forms of ocracies, ologies, or isms is a form of slavery, bondage, or limitation by association and by agreement. Whatever one clings to is their master. Whoever one clings to is their warden. Who understands this? Life is also slavery. The universe is also slavery. Energy, not mere color, is slavery. Time, not mere geography, is slavery. Matter, not the mere body or river of blood, is slavery. Space, not the mere self, thought, or mind, is slavery. Verily, incarnation in or as any form is slavery. Chapter 25. Music is experience, not racial color. Music is born of experience, not color. Wisdom is born of experience, not color. Genius is born of experience, not color. Soul is born of experience, not color. Spiritual realization is born of experience, not color. Transcendent enlightenment is also born of direct experience, not color. The need to sing, dance, and play music is human, not racial. The need to create and assert one's individual freedom is spiritual. It is not racial. Race is but one factor. It is the outside of the cup, but not the true reality of the inside, the psychic, mental, or spiritual truth or heart of the cup. Any political or religious system of history or human record which proclaims to know the true origins and evolution of musical forms, scales, melodies, musical rites, and esoteric practices of sound masters and spiritual master musicians, is a lie. No such knowledge of timelines exists in truth beyond theory, speculation, and guesswork. Who was there to hear spirit pour through a folk musician in some remote area of earth amongst a circle of true spiritual devotees and adepts to speak of it? The historic versions of music, like maps to the mind, intelligence, consciousness, soul, and spirit, hardly scratch the surface of a molecule on the tip of an iceberg. Existing knowledge of music and its sources is a corpse. Existing knowledge of musical genius, spiritual musical capability, and sound channeling is also a corpse. To know these mysterious truths is to know the universe and that spirit which lives, breathes, and plays the universe of and for itself. An infinity of critical and catastrophic events, silent beings and sound channels, have served to secretly shape the direction of worldly and native music and its opposite, the spiritual music of fire sound. Too often, what is written by academics, scientists, and researching knowers is pretense theory, superficial speculation, and self and race-serving fantasy, and simply a pit of lies. Whatever has been done in the West is always founded upon what already has been done differently in the East, or even beyond the West, beyond notice. Few are recognized, most are forgotten. The infinite exploration of the microtonal properties of each and every known musical tone, and between every two known hearable or discernible tones, is a very ancient, if not beginningless, fact of the musical and occult traditions of the so-called Near and Far East. The results of this knowledge were born out of emotional purification and psychic experience beyond any theory or pedagogic authority. These processes and their phenomena are born of human suffering and spiritual yearning, not attendance at schools where mere hypothesis, not true aesthetics, is taught or fought about. Every being is their own microcosmic musical universe, but who teaches this? Who lives as if this were truth or reality, save the very rarest and highest of attunement to their inner verses of sound, which alone sets one free from all social and professional influences, once mastery of spirit is attained. Chapter 26. Levels of musical reality. There is the racial level of music. This is the mass level of the blood karma, which is the most general musical impression, if any at all. Then there is the social or tribal level, which is a step closer to one's individual reality of music. But after the social is the self-conscious, analytical, or psychologic level of musical karma, by way of experience or social or tribal identification. The next level of music is the level for self-assertion relative to individual assessment of material and psychic resources, which show up as self-security, self-confidence, and self-satisfaction, and obsession with quantity. The next level of musical reality is the level of agreement and dependency upon traditional ideas, religion, philosophy, politics, art, science, and so on. The establishment is worshipped and becomes worthy of fixation and devotion. Creativity is found to be a problem. Changes are perceived as the destruction of consciousness. Here, Lord, is time and conformity to regulation, written law, ritual frameworks, plans, flowcharts, timelines, and time tracks. This is the level of conservatism and false peace of mind acquired through control of circumstance, rather than through transcending all conflict and duality. Race music is an ethnocentric source of infinite self-building material and psychic power. The next level of musical reality is the higher psychic level of individual awareness. This is the pre-spiritual domain of great potential and the initial phase of seeing beyond the realm of appearances. The earlier or primitive levels of reality relative to musical consciousness have no power of transcendence whatsoever. This level enables one to begin to create and recreate the worlds of time, space, energy, and matter. One begins to experience partial transcension and accessing true knowing of universal and spiritual potential and higher realities, capabilities, and possibilities of true spiritual being, beginning with the realization that all worlds are within consciousness awareness. All causes and effects are revealed as the infinite, yet conditional and transformable field of the universes of space. One begins to realize that vastness which lies beyond the self, thought, and mind of every being. One creates what is called the future by reshaping the present and recreating the way in which things and beings appear and function. One steps out of self-limitation and begins to be the universe itself. This is the realm of potential, the realm of infinity, the realm of pure spirit. On this level, time is a symphony of pulses and cycles within and outside of cycles. Here there is nothing but all times and spaces, all energies and grades of matter. The next level of reality, of musical creation, or sound manifestation, or demonstration, is one of being source, the fire point, fire sound, fire thought. Here one enters realization of what every image and impression is, and what each creates to infinity. Here, neither time nor space nor energy nor matter exist of themselves. They are projected upon the screen of the universe. Only fire is real here. One is source, creator and heart, and nothing all at once. Here is the paradox and divinity of sound as silence, and silence as fire, pure spiritual, transcendental fire. Here one can begin to be as God is, the great image maker and destroyer, and yet the great void of itself. Spirit music is the fire-centric source of intergalactic and universal transcendence. Who plays music from the state of heavenly grace, far, far beyond the hellish worlds of blood, mind, heart, and racial soul? Who, beyond all national bondage, can ascend, expand into, or realize the heart of the universe of fire sound itself? Here is the oneness, unity, and love realization of all the great mystics, the masters, and intergalactic messengers. Here is supreme beingness at its source essence and spiritual heart. Who hears this music? Does it sound like what you ordinarily hear, meditate on, or identify with by way of your self-ear, thought ear, or mind ear? Is it music of the earth or of the solar system? Does it have anything in common with your social, professional, national, or racial ambitions, desires, preferences, tendencies, and attachments? Who understands this? Chapter 27. What color is the sound you hear? There is material white, and there is spiritual white. There is material black, and there is spiritual black. Who understands this? This realization is not about racial color as much as spatial or dimensional awareness. Awareness, the indicator of soul energy, is infinitely greater than any outer casing, covering, or masking. I tell you what you see is a mask. What you need to know is behind, within, and beyond all masking. What you see is like what is heard or what is said, while you know not the true meaning of either. What is behind all forms, all beings, all sounds, all colors and lights, all thoughts, all minds, and all worlds? Spiritual black is the absolute infinity one has yet to explore and realize. Spiritual white is merely that infinity one has already realized as relative beingness and its potential. But the beyond, beyond, beyond is the true blackness of itself, from whence all that refers to any mystery has its source. True black is mystery. True black is a transcendent. True black is the heart fire sound itself. True black is isness itself. False or material black is fear. True black is no color. Spiritual black is pure, joyful silence beyond everything and everyone. In true black or pure fire sound, there is no self, no thought, no race, and no mind. The ordinary musician is but a babe in the stroller, needing to be pushed safely along the path until it's grown enough to walk for itself. Hear this, all of you who would be proud of the little you know and content with the little you have grown thus far. All things come from spirit and from within one's consciousness. The highest things are given to the few open enough to receive directly from spirit or its agents, never from mere social or racial sources, however useful or sacred such sources appear to the human eye, ear, or mind. Much too much is said about geography, nationality, and genealogy, and not enough about reality of itself. Abandon all such materialization and speculation and return to your spiritual source, who is fire. The rest of what you worship, by way of any land, any cave, any ocean, any woodland, prairie, desert, mountain region, coast, or highland, is a corpse. It is only what you sense and perceive to be outside of or besides your own spirit, who is already perfect, ascended, and always in heaven, transcendence, and silence. Who understands this? Who is free enough to understand this? Who is spiritual enough to realize this? Your music is not real until you are real, my beloved musician, and therefore free of all artificiality, game playing, delusion, falseness, and masquerading. Take heed. Chapter 28. Who is not a continuation of life sound? If there is truth to creativity and genealogy, then there is truth to reincarnation. If reincarnation is truth, then consciousness, not color, is what is relevant to spiritual and human unfoldment. There are many white spirits in dark bodies, and there are many native spirits in Caucasoid white bodies. Genuinely unfolding spirits cannot be tricked by education, politics, religion, science, and art. They just know and let others around them know their secrets about spirit, and how that what is truly spiritual is the freedom of the individual. This freedom is the sign of fire at work, releasing the individual from all that binds one to the earth and to the gravitational views of the world, society, and unenlightened beings. Many beings need to prepare for spirit's descension. The few must prepare for ascension into spirit. But for masters, they must merely open to spirit and live from and as that perfect openness, which reveals the truth, heart, and essence of the Great Spirit as it moves through the individual and lifts it above the self, mind and body, world, and God. See? Karmatic or spiritual experience creates music. Karmatic or spiritual experience creates feelings, which seek expression and release of the energy. Experience builds tension and forces, which also play a significant part in what one is moved to do, moved to say, moved to be, and moved to play, dance, or sing. Make no mistake about this. Experience, and especially sorrow, creates the strongest emotions and feelings, which fuel the power of song, music, and sound. Experience is the karmatic source of all expression, of which music is but one form. Then spirit creates music through contact with the experience of fire, which creates its own sound vibration, which in turn severs one from this world, freeing one into beautiful domains of light, peace, joy, beauty, and happiness. Experience creates forms of music. Happy experience creates and necessitates happy music and song. Sad, painful, and sorrowful, tragic experience creates sad feeling, sad music, sad expression, and sad songs. All experience, thus, is bondage and is ultimately sorrowful. Life is sorrowful. Everywhere there is death, sadness, heartbreak, and catastrophe. All of these create music, but all such music at its core is sorrow, and full of unspoken and unplayed grief. Someone's grief. Some ancestors need to express its grief through you, the living descendant within its river of blood and its immediate gene pool. No race, no tribe, and no one has any genuine monopoly on this act of the creation or cause of musical expression, which predates this world and its sing-song creatures of sorrow, and even this great galaxy, which is only one of an infinite variety of planes of consciousness, awareness, and existence in an infinity of parallel realities, all of which exist simultaneously within and without one another. Spirit itself is the true origin of all music, all peoples, and all worlds. Peel the skin back and ask the heart where music comes from. It will say no music comes from just the skin. All real music comes from the heart within the chest, in that true, precious, and ultimate place of worship, played on the ultimate instrument of human consciousness, spiritual experience, and its higher octave transcendent realization. Every nation has its sad and happy, its minor and major folk songs from infinite time immemorial. Each of the native people of Earth has their own cultural center, common experience, and common creative expression. But the individual whose spirit chooses is brought to be source of life and wisdom itself, within and yet beyond all cultural, national, tribal, racial, and terrestrial conditioning and limitation. Chapter 29. When the individual is transcended in realization. Freedom is an individual realization. True freedom is a state of consciousness. It is not a cultural fact or custom. The individual, not the race, must free itself from all conditions, all limitations, all barriers, all beliefs, and thereby enter the brilliant fire of truth and come face to face, heart to heart, with its sound. A truly spiritual individual is always already free and lives to bring this realization and wisdom-centered lifestyle to all in its midst. Such a one is perfecting its understanding and vision from birth and makes this known as it travels its journey to complete mastery and transcendence. Furthermore, for the musician, there is no one more superior than a spiritually enlightened, selfless music master in whom spirit of itself is active and functioning for the benefit of all beings in all worlds. Many claim to have more knowledge of, and greater ability surviving in the material worlds of time and space, but only the master understands the true nature of spirit as heart fire sound. What is beautiful about heart fire sound is the process of self-transcendence, not its products of art, creativity, or commercial value. Okay? Imitations of imitations does not a true, real, or deep music make. Therefore, seek perfection in expression, perfectly released, perfectly purifying, perfectly self-transcending, and perfectly heart-liberating fire sound expression, rather than be limited to or crucified by form, by theory of form, or by theory rather than by inheritance and genius of expression. Transcend the mind of theoretics and liberate the soul of true native heart expression. What already is or exists as form is not perfection of itself as much as a possible perfection of what was, which still is, or remains to be recreated, transformed, superseded, transcended, or obsoleted. Every perfect vibration or cycle of pitch is but a pitch relative to a perfect higher or lower pitch, which is also perfect as itself. Therefore, there are no perfect pitches, no perfect forms of music, no perfect ways to play anything, and no perfect one to play anything outside of now. All native people have their prayer songs and laments. These are forms of what is called the blues, or the heart music of the folk people, the humble people, the native people, those closest to nature, the elements, the often violent or creative forces and spirits of nature. All of these elements, forces, and creatures of nature have their correspondence with the human being, who is but another force, intelligence, or creature of nature. Do rhythms come from the mind of humans, or are they not the very pulses of creation itself? How many vibrations, waves, pulses, and sounds is a human being? What are cosmic biorhythms? In the sense life is time. Time is vibratory rate. Everyone sings, dances, and plays according to their nature, instinct, genetic inheritance, psychic urge, or spirit need, or by education, learning, conditioning, and gradual assimilation. True Native American music is not the tragic music of just one migration, one nationality, or one race, or one people, but of every race's, every new nation's continuous interaction with a new world, a new order, and a new musical base from which to create their own native version of music. When genius is present, every form of poverty is a form of creative fuel. Every product is always a raw form of musical expression. The body is a cacophony of rhythms activated, stimulated, or inhibited by unmanifest or manifest nature. The music of the body is not a readily recognizable melody or time signature. Rather, the body is a complex universe of sounds, pulses, rhythms, feelings, movements, sensations, echoes, thoughts, moods, waves, cycles, and intensities. To lose contact with these primal sources of sound and musical expression is to create a need to be educated and taught what else there is to hear, what else there is to feel, what else there is to express, and what else there is to know than your own cosmic source and divine origin. Hear the universe of your body, not your body's surface or skin, but its complex symphony of integrated biosystems and their potential as generators of sound and light. There is a universe, a kingdom within, and it is not even physical. The physical is the reed for consciousness itself. What is more primitive and primal than the human body beneath the skin and the pure awareness which inhabits it? Know your true native source. Do not betray this. This is also your soul who chooses your race, your place, your face, and your inner space in this life. Know the feeling of your native source and play from its powerful emotion. This emotion is created for and by this native source. This emotion beyond the skin is the true force behind your life, the true source of your conflict, and the true source of your conditional joy. Who understands this? Most want to be better humans and materially better off as such, but refuse to be true to their native source, their true nature preserving source, their true life positive instincts, their true religious inclinations, and true spiritual roots. But your true native source is not the true spiritual source of all beings, all worlds, and all gods. Therefore, master this native source, which is the self of the river of blood, and enter the stream beyond the earth and its galaxy. One cannot transcend the native self-source they have not mastered. Master this. Transcend this. Leave earth and be spiritual, and as one with the source of cosmic life itself. Who can make sense of this? Chapter 30. Your music is your mirror. Musicians can only express what they are identified with at any time. Those without spiritual vision and without perfect spiritual practice will be true to their lives. Those with genuine spiritual vision and perfect spiritual practice will be true to their truth and what they actually are as humans, as spirits, as practitioners, and as masters of life and music. Fire sound music is emotional music, emotional to the extent that it is genuinely creative, that is literally ripped out of the heart. Feel this pain of giving birth. Know it as suffering and sorrow, and let it sing for itself. Anything less is not true music. Life is the condition of suffering, which creates and is creative, therefore free, pure, and spontaneous music. Remember, a seance is set up with one channel and a circle or group of supporters or secondary mediums. Let your music be set up this way. Let your primary channel or soloist or leader be capable of spiritually entering and traversing the great mysterious depths of the unconscious fire sound. Then, true music is created, channeled, or allowed to come through. Let your medium be the greatest of players, or else what you receive will be a trick, a fake, a deviation in progression, and a digression at that, and nothing of value will be gained beyond your sweat and physical exertion. Again, experience of the spiritual realities is a prerequisite for such an operation or purifying work. Real music is the result of the highest experiences of spirit, which expresses itself through and to a small degree as music. What is your experience in these ways? Who do you pay to create that experience for you? What are you doing to acquire that experience for yourself? Your improvisations must not be learned, imitated, acquired, stolen, or even borrowed. They must be transcendent of yourself and born out of true fire sound practice, beyond all self-thought and mind, and sound nothing like anyone else. Thinking and attitudes about this teaching are superficialities of thought. Only realization of spirit as fire sound is reality. All else is false. Not music, but transcendent experience and realization is the true soul of life. What is the music of your own culture, of your ancestry, your parents, your river of blood, and specific gene pool? Then what is the music of your soul? What is within you that moves you to be musically rebellious? What is it within you that moves you to be spiritually rebellious? Is your musical rebellion for or against your spiritual rebellion? Which of these apparently separate rebellions is the more beautiful? Which one represents the greatest and highest degree of freedom? Why aren't these two instincts, the instinct towards music and the instinct towards transcension, one and the same? Isn't this conflict between what is inborn and what is assumed or learned? What one knows as opposed to what one is or ought to be? Is a conflict between one's bondage or one's freedom? The make-believe or what is real? The theatrical or what is simply true? What could be real in music without an emotional cry out loud, without the power of direct suffering, tragedy, and heartbreak? Who can make spiritual progress from a materialistic approach to music, art, expression, and being? What can materialism and art dignify in the spirit of human freedom? True art is a secret to most. It is esoteric creation. It is a spiritual process which operates beneath and beyond any socially conditioned materialistic value system. Who of you has ceased destroying your spiritual impulses? Who has recognized their slavery to vital instincts, sexual urges, and egoic tendencies? Who in this light has seen their pattern of denying what belongs to spirit, true creativity, and aloneness? Who is making spirit their highest priority in life? Who acknowledges that materialism in the form of commercialism is the Satan, the master of darkness, the evil power which obscures the light of truth and prevents the individual from realizing their full potential, spiritually and creatively? Who admits slavery to this demon of conformity, to contaminated, impure, and corrupt self-image and self-expression? When spirit alone is the priority, one is then open to greater musical complexity, greater capacity for utilizing tension, greater emotional range, greater technical mastery, greater depth of consciousness, and a greater, more total vision of the cosmos. Chapter 31. Who is ready for the deep, deep, deep? The renunciation of musical art as an artifice, as an artificial symbol of life, is essential to properly understanding the true nature of creative music. The true purpose of rhythm as time is to create space, freedom, intensity, new feelings, new ideas, new realities, new directions, and an ever-unfolding new music, fire sound. Whatever is art is a corpse, dead, superfluous, fake, irrelevant, and insignificant to the process of creation by fire. Most musicians do not create their own music. Their karma not merely creates, but is their music. Their music at best is art. It is neither true heart music nor fire sound from the depths of the free soul. Whatever is merely art is pseudo-heart music, always socially and professionally relevant, yet psychologically dead and spiritually meaningless. If the music is not esoteric and always reaching into the depths of consciousness, exploring the infinity of the unconscious universe, of what real spiritual value is it? Where is the transcendental heart of any and all music, sound, time, harmony, and collective unconscious playing? Most music, however ethnically valid or culturally sacred, is garbage without the creative, transformative, and purifying element of creative, heart, fire sound. There is no higher art than that which transcends description, transcends self, transcends time, transcends culture, and transcends itself. There is no higher art than transcendent expression of true transcendent art, which is no art at all. Such musical heart fire sound is beyond vulgar, iconoclastic, and anarchistic movements of anti-establishment expression. The experience of freedom is everything. The realization of freedom is everything. The musical expression of this freedom is everything. Music short of this freedom is nothing. Music free of itself as any form, save that of the heart, is everything. Free, free, free is the infinity of the individual as cosmic center and sources of the universe. Free, free, free is the vast, vast, vast universe of spirit. Free, free, free is its truth. Free, free, free is its intelligence. Free, free, free is its wisdom. Free, free, free is its love. Free, free, free is its sound. Free, free, free is its heart fire. Free, free, free is its awareness. Deep, deep, deep is its song. Deep, deep, deep is its feeling. Deep, deep, deep is its understanding. Deep, deep, deep is its imagination. Deep, deep, deep is its transcendence of bondage and slavery. Deep, deep, deep is its urge to create. Deep, deep, deep is its gift of prejudice, rejection, persecution, and crucifixion. Deep, deep, deep is its no racism. Deep, deep, deep is its creative-ism. Deep, deep, deep is its purity. Deep, deep, deep is its dependency upon spirit as reality and source. Deep, deep, deep is its radicalism. Deep, deep, deep is its demand for pure and perfect freedom. Deep, deep, deep is its need to save the right to freely create. Deep, deep, deep is its need to scream, free, 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 in every way, free, free, free.